Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the Student Experience Panel. Today we have with us current engineering students from both our Vancouver and Okanagan campuses, and they're here to share with everybody a little insight into the programs, like the one that you've been hearing about from the past 2 days, but more so from a student perspective. Well, a short introduction about myself. My name is Joseph, like Moses, like Jesus, like Joseph. My pronouns are he, him, and I am an alum of the School of Engineering at the Okanagan campus. I graduated in 2018 with a Bachelor of Applied Science in Civil Engineering, and I was the first Black valedictorian for UBC Okanagan graduating class. I currently work as a project engineer with the City of Vancouver's Board of Parks and Recreation, and I remain involved with UBC as an international student advisor. I am the moderator for this morning's panel, and I greatly enjoy sharing my student experiences and life as an engineer in the industry. I'll now ask our panelists to introduce themselves, their names, pronouns, programming campus, year level, extracurriculars that they're involved in, and their favorite thing about campus.
Fantastic. My name's Heenan Bird. I'm in my third year as a manufacturing engineering student. I spent 8 months working as a manufacturing engineer for a company called Raytheon out of Chicago. And then I spent 4 months doing the study abroad program in Denmark. And the last 4 months I spent working as an analytics engineer for a small software company based out of Seattle. I think one of my favorite things about campus is my job. I work as a residence advisor, which means I work with first-year students when they come in. And specifically, I run the Innovation and Technology LLC, which means engineers who come in their first year who want to build things and be part of a community. That's the community I'm a part of and that I run.
Thank you.
I can go next. Hi, everyone. I'm Jane. My pronouns are she and her. I am in my 6th year of engineering physics at the Vancouver campus. I've done like 4 or 5 co-op terms now at various places in Vancouver and in the States. And I also did a study abroad in Denmark. So feel free to ask questions on that. And I'd say my favorite thing about campus in Vancouver is in the fall when all the trees turn red. It's just so pretty to walk down the campus.
Thank you.
Sure, I can go next. Hi, everyone. My name is Katrina. I am a third-year biomedical engineering student at the Vancouver campus. I am currently on my second work term of 8 months in Vancouver. I think my favorite thing about campus is just like the wide variety of things you can kind of get into, whether that's like clubs, sports, activities. There's so much going on. Like if you wanted to do something every single day, there's an activity for you. And I think just the opportunities here are just like endless. So you can find really the community that you're looking for.
Thank you. And last but not least.
Okay, maybe next. Hi everyone, let me introduce myself. My name is Alkeshira Najma Fiza. I'm currently in my second year studying mechanical engineering at UBC Okanagan campus. I just starting my work learn at School of Engineering as a student staff social content creator and honored part of Engineering Stories team. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So I hope you're very excited because there is a lot that these current students are going to share with us about their experience. And, while at UBC, students have a variety of opportunities that they can take advantage of, including the Coordinated International Experience Program, Research Abroad opportunities. We just heard about the core program and a variety of extracurriculars. There are over 30 engineering design teams, ranging from automotive teams to sustainability teams. And you can join a team as early as your first year and get a chance to compete internationally with universities like Harvard and maybe UC Berkeley, and maybe even beat them. Now, design teams are a great way to apply your theory, learn to tackle challenges, and innovate. In addition, our campuses have also over 400 student-run clubs. Now, these student clubs are a great place to meet like-minded people and explore your interests, whether it may be developing a website or standing up for climate change. We have it all. See, when I was a student, I really wanted to bridge the gap between students and faculty. So I had this idea to create a club where we all hang out and had tea with our profs and had some casual, informal conversations. And I found that eventually that helped to sort of break down those barriers between the students and the professors. But that's enough for me. Let's now hear from our panelists. Why should students join design teams and what values does it add? I was hoping maybe Jen and Shivan could talk a bit about it.
Yeah, I can definitely speak to the value of design teams. And let me just start by saying that the value is a lot. Um, Especially when you're a first year or second year engineering student, you don't have much work experience on your hands. So when you're going and looking for your first co-op, the thing that really sets students apart in that job search is if you have design team experience on your portfolio. So that's like a really great experience to have. It's also a great way to meet senior engineering students, befriend them, learn from their school past, what they've done. So that's a great way to like connect with other engineering students. And definitely, yeah, it's great hands-on experience. So you like in the classes, you write your formulas, you do your tests, but that's no substitute for when you're like actually doing hands-on stuff in a design team. That's when I feel learn the most. So join a design team.
Thank you so much, Jen. Shiva?
Yeah. Don't think they're here.
Oh, okay. Does anybody else want to add anything about design teams?
Yeah, I'd like to jump in and just reiterate one comment that was made. The value of them when you're doing your first co-op or your first job experience. The work experience you get in school or the academic knowledge you gain is valuable, but when you go and do projects in the real world or for a company, that understanding of cradle to grave assessment of how do I build something? How do I really make it? How do I work with a team? That's where you get the experience in design teams, and that's why they're so critical. So I think UBC provides a fantastic opportunity to get involved with whatever design you're interested in and then apply that to the workforce.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Maybe let's talk about how you find your community at UBC. Many students find community through residence. And I know some of you have been involved in residence. I was hoping you could share with us, and of course, the prospective students online, how students can find their community in residence. Or do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'd love to. I work as an RA, which means I live in residence with residents every day. Sometimes we build projects, sometimes we do programs. Ultimately, what it is, though, is it's a community. And so I run the Innovation and Technology LLC, and an LLC is a living learning community. And what that means is residents come in with similar passions, whether it's engineering or environmental sustainability or global engagement, and they work together, build programs, have events all centered around that. I think those LLCs, mine specifically, is a fantastic way for engineers to get engaged with their community. Regardless of if you're involved with clubs or academics or looking for jobs, if you live with people who are interested or passionate about the same things as you, you build projects that are more interesting. And you can always do more as part of a community than you can do as an individual. And I think residence provides a great opportunity to get involved with those people who share a passion with you.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. Let's switch gears and talk about clubs now. Alkashir, did you join any clubs or programs to find your community on campus?
Of course. So, as an international student, being away from home and family is something that is not easy for me. So, one of the great ways to tackle homesickness or loneliness is by finding supportive communities and clubs that suit my interests. Plus, UBC is home to hundreds of clubs. I've been involved in the Muslim Student Association of UBC, or we call it as MSc UBC. During my first year, I served as first year representative. It is a great way to join club because you can expand your network, meet and connect with new people from different backgrounds, and develop leadership and communication skills. As the involvement in numerous projects and events provides opportunities and to enhance our soft skills, definitely. And beyond matters of spirituality, I've also joined a club that aligns with my academic interest, which is research, the undergraduate research opportunities, or we call it as URO. Within this group, I become a mentee engaging in research projects related to my stream, and I receive guidance from mentors, often master's or PhD students. I can say joining club is really worth it, and you'll regret if you just spend your whole 4 years just for studying and not having any social or extracurricular involvement.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Katrina, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, sure. So I'm on the Vancouver campus and I've joined a lot of clubs in the past 3 years. I think for me, it was my way to find the people that were like-minded and to find my community. So in the past 3 years, I was part of something called UBC Paths, which focuses on education and supporting the community of those who are impacted by Parkinson's and Alzheimer's. For this, I have the opportunity to be the marketing vice president. So I'm able to connect with all of the people that we fundraise for and then the volunteer opportunities. I joined this because it was a personal kind of connection to my family. But I've also been a part of clubs such as like Dance Horizons that has so many different teams that you can compete with and you perform with. So that was kind of my way to like connect to like my dance experience in the past in like high school and elementary school and just find all those people who are as passionate for it as I was. And I think just joining a club is one of the best ways to find your friends and the people that you'll really connect with. So I'd say like look through that hundreds of clubs list that we have on like the UBC website and just like command F whatever you want to find and you'll definitely find it. And if you don't, there's always a way for you to like form a club with friends. And I'd say like just go for it because you won't regret it.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing that. Now let's talk about customizing your degree. There are various ways that students can customize their degree. And I'm going to call on Jade and Brody here. You both went to study abroad through our coordinated international experience. Can you tell us more about what that was like for you two? Anyone can go first.
Perfect. I'll hop right in. So I spent 4 months at the Technical University of Denmark in Copenhagen. And during that time, I think there was really three major takeaways in terms of what I got out of it that wouldn't have got out of a normal degree. One was the ability to travel. I think with the CIE program, you're set up with another engineering program on the other side of the world. You can go there, you have people to talk to, you have a program to be involved with, but then also you can travel, see different cultures, talk to different people. The second thing is the value of a different set of educational ideals. And so while there, although I have a manufacturing engineering degree, I spent a lot of time studying machine learning and data analytics. And interestingly enough, my co-op or my internship right after I did that abroad was specifically around analytics, data analytics, and looking at big data. And so the value of the program wasn't only this international experience, but this knowledge that I could take away and then apply to the workforce in a completely different area than I knew about before. And it kind of unlocked a new passion. And I think the third thing really ultimately is just the experience. I mean, you moving away from your standard degree to go and customize it yourself is really an incredible opportunity that UBC provides. It's in the motto, "To mest," it's yours. You can decide how you want to go about this degree and how you want to learn.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, just to add on to that, that was great. I also went to the Technical University of Denmark in Copenhagen. So I was also there for 4 months. I was there, wow, it was this year, January to May this year. It was kind of cold, but I really enjoyed it as well. I think another thing, like studying abroad versus just traveling abroad, it's a different experience, right? You could always go travel to Denmark, but being a student in that country, it's just a different feeling. And in terms of the education, there's courses available there that are like unique and you can't really take at UBC. So for example, I was really interested in taking some sustainability related courses, and Denmark is really known for that. They're like ahead in like research and industry for sustainability. So I took courses in photovoltaics and future energy, and they just teach them better than you would kind of hear. They also have a different teaching experience. They're really focused on collaboration, working as a team, and understanding concepts. So, for example, their final exams aren't written exams, they're like oral exams. You sit down with a professor and they ask you, hey, how does this work? And if you can explain it well, then you kind of pass. So it's an interesting experience for sure. So I definitely recommend it.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. Katrina, this one is for you. Can you tell us more about your co-op experience? What has it been like so far?
Yeah, for sure. So currently I'm on an 8-month co-op. I kind of changed my co-op stream because usually in my program you do 4 months and then go back to school and do 16 months. So I extended my co-op with the company I'm working for. So I'm working for Vancouver Coastal Health. So they're one of the health authorities in BC, and I am a research assistant for the occupational health and safety team. So I kind of have two job responsibilities. I'm working on a hazardous drug study because they're implementing a new engineering control into the hospitals. And then on top of that, I also work with the hygiene team as a data analyst. I'm working on a few different portfolios, kind of analyzing data and creating education and safety protocols for the staff at the Vancouver hospitals. I think for me, going from, like everyone else said, going from the education and applying that has been like the biggest learning curve for me, just kind of seeing what I can actually do with what I'm learning in class. And I think too, just being in a career that I can see all the different opportunities, I've been able to shadow so many different colleagues of mine has really kind of motivating me to find even more that I can do with my degree. And as someone who did not like programming at all in the first years of my engineering experience, I am now like loving what I'm doing because I have a mentor in my position who's kind of pushing me to keep going. And so I've learned R, which I didn't know before, and I also learned Python, which I didn't really have experience in, and I now love them. So I think for me that was the biggest kind of thing I've taken out so far is just finding things I might have not loved in the classroom and finding the practical application and really enjoying that. So I would totally do it if you get the chance. And I think just go for any type of job that you think could be relatively interesting for yourself, even if it's not exactly what you want to do kind of long term, because you'll learn something about yourself no matter what.
Wow, thank you for that. Yeah, and like Dr. Jennifer Everly mentioned earlier, I was also in the core program, and really for me, it was the first step into what it meant to work in the real world, in the industry. And what I found really interesting about it was that people were always willing to help. I did not know what was happening, but I just found that people were willing to kind of motivate me and show me like, hey, don't worry about it. We'll teach you. You don't have to really know everything. Because I've always been the kind of person that wanted to hit the ground running, but this was a little bit different experience for me. And this is also related to one of the questions I see here in the chat. What were some of the things that surprised you when you went into the industry, or what was the learning curve? And for me, the core program as well. I think it was, of course, very different from being in the classroom experience in that I didn't have homework and I could just concentrate on what I was doing. And I found people were very helpful, like I said, very willing. And what was really a good learning one for me was that I had to remind myself that there wasn't a big test waiting at the end of this. This I wasn't going to be quizzed on my co-op experience. This was for me to learn and apply as much as I had learned through class, just in the real world. So yeah, I totally recommend the co-op program as well. Okay, let's switch things up a little bit here. As a student, there's so many ways that you can be involved outside of your school schedule. And the engineering program has this reputation of being cost heavy as compared to other programs and other degrees. And sometimes it feels possible like you don't have enough time for everything. And everyone, of course, has different ways to manage time. Today, we'll be discussing a few of the ways our current students are doing this. Alkshira, are you ready?
Yes.
How do you maintain a work-study balance while being a part of extracurriculars?
First of all, I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity to serve as student staff starting at my second year at UBC. Balancing this role with my academic studies and club involvement has added a significant layer responsibilities to my plate. When we're talking about work study balance, of course, our study or coursework comes first. However, achieving a work life balance is equally important. Here, I'd like to share some of my strategies I've been doing and continue to learn. The first thing is that prioritize. understand our priorities, and focus on what's most important to us, and identify our top academic goals, the extracurricular activities that matter the most, and our work commitments. Make sure to prioritize align with your long-term goals. The second is that create a schedule. Develop a detailed schedule or calendar that includes our class times, work hours, and extracurricular commitments. And because this helps us visualize our time and allocate it effectively. For me personally, I actually prefer to bring my traditional agenda with me everywhere I go. I always write everything down because I know I cannot just rely on my brain to memorize everything. And the third thing is that time blocking. I love to use the technique of time blocking to allocate specific blocks of my time for study, work, and extracurricular activities. This helps me to stay organized and ensure that we set aside dedicated time for each task. And this means that we also should avoid multitasking. When we are studying, focus solely on our studies, and when we are working on a study project, allocate our time fully to it. This approach will definitely enhance our productivity. The fourth thing is that communication. In the School of Engineering, UBC Okanagan, we have so many great engineering advisors that here for us. When I first attended a drop-in session, I had no idea that I would receive such a guidance that could significantly improve my study plan, something I had never realized before. So communicating with your professor, advisor, extracurricular leaders is super duper important. Let them know about our schedule and any potential conflicts. Most people are understanding and may offer support or a flexibility. And then I just want to remind that finding the right balance may take time and experimentation. For me, what works for one student may not work for another. So it's important to customize your approach to fit your individual needs and goals. Prioritize your self-care through adequate sleep, regular exercise, and healthy diet to boost your productivity and well-being, while also embracing flexibility to adapt to unexpected schedule. That's for
Wow.
me.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that, Alkisha. And I know that all of us on the call here can attest to that. Our studying style changed when we transitioned from high school to university, and there are certain new styles that we had to adapt. And on top of that, there was even other things outside of the classroom and the studying experience that we had to adapt to. And I'm, I'm just curious, and this is also a question in the chat, and I thought that maybe our panelists would like to take a crack at this, is, what is diversity like at UBC? Are people really open to diversity, including different ethnicities, as well as even different genders and even transgender students, for example? What is that like, and what has that experience been like, with you and your colleagues and friends? Does anybody want to answer that?
Sure, I can go first. So I have been fortunate enough to be kind of a part of Women in Engineering at UBC campus. I joined that actually before I joined UBC. So they have a mentoring program with high school students. And that was kind of my first kind of application to how diverse UBC is and how accepting everyone was. We are, as high school students, like partnered with a mentor and every year student in engineering, and you kind of explore what UBC Engineering is like for women in engineering. From there, I've been able to actually work in the internal team, so planning socials, and also continuing with the mentorship program. I think sometimes engineering can be daunting for people who are in a minority, especially in a male-dominated field. But as someone who's been able to be a part of the women in engineering community, I say it's probably my favorite community that I've been a part of. Just it's so welcoming. And I'll pass it off to anyone else who wants to answer.
Yeah. Anybody else want to add to that?
I mean, the only thing I can speak to is as a residence advisor, a big part of what residence is making sure we have a welcoming, open community for people who want to come here. A large portion of the training we go through, both staff as well as residence advisors, is when someone comes here, they have a right to feel safe. They have a right to feel welcome. They have a right to feel like they're part of a community. And so when you come to residence in your first year, our goal, the staff's goal, UBC's goal, is to make it a place you feel safe, you feel like you can make mistakes, a place you feel like you can learn. And that's ultimately what you get when you come to UBC. You get a community that's there to help you and support you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, and thank you for sharing that from the resident life experience. I want to be mindful of time, and I think we are running out of time here, and this is a good opportunity to really thank the panelists for taking the time to share their experience. And I really want to thank everyone that tuned in and sent in some questions. And I want to now invite our viewers to visit the other Hoping sessions. We have the International Student Experience session, the Transfer Student session, or the Advising Q&A. So I really encourage you to hop into that and learn a bit more. Thank you once again, our panelists, and thank you, everybody, and have a beautiful day.